You would think we could end the show here, my friends, and this, or that last clip does seem like a logical stopping point for this 10-year anniversary look back, but, my friends, I have a little bonus clip for you here from June 6th, 2010, when Lucy Diamond guest hosted the show and talked about a critter that invaded her home.
You should have seen last week. I don't know if I told you the story, but I remember telling somebody, but one morning I was in like a good mood and she like begs to go outside, so I said, okay, I'm gonna let her come outside and have a coffee with me. And I brought her on the porch and she was sitting on my lap being good, and so I let her down on the porch and she was so good, and then she wanted to walk around the yard and she wasn't running or darting or misbehaving, and she was just sitting in the yard nicely. I said, okay. I opened up the door and to the house in case she wanted to run in, and then I went in the house and poured her food, and then like I just went in the house, poured her food, went back onto the porch and said, hey Moxie, but I didn't see her anymore, and then I heard glass moving inside of the house, so I turned back around and looked inside the house and I saw her sitting here on the floor next to the desk. So I said, oh Moxie, you're a good girl, I just poured you some food. So I shut the screen door and then I went, Moxie, what are you doing? You know, so she could come over and have the food, and a chipmunk ran across the floor over to the other side of the house, and then Moxie went to go dart, but I grabbed Moxie and I figured, okay, what we'll do is get the chipmunk out of the house. So I opened the screen back again and then got the broom and was like poking things so that the chipmunk would run, and the chipmunk ran, you know, along the wall. It ran this way, then it ran along the wall this way. So then it would have to come back this way in order to go to the door. But it was stuck over in that other corner. So I went over to the other corner and I had Moxie in my hand and I was using the broom and like poking stuff trying to get the thing to move. So Moxie, you know, I had Moxie, I didn't want her to get it. And I was poking the thing and so the chipmunk would run that way to go out the door. So I'm poking around and there's like, you know, the dishwashing liquid container thing was there, and the little chipmunk was like hiding behind it. So I was poking it and stuff, and I didn't really want to squish it. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. So it fell over. The container fell over, and it was exposed. So the chipmunk, instead of running all the way to the door, following the wall, which I thought was what it was doing, it ran diagonally across the middle of the room and was going to run down the hallway to the bedrooms, which, you know, I've got teenagers. There's no way you would ever find a chipmunk if the thing got to the end of the house. So, just in a heartbeat, I had to decide whether or not I was going to let the chipmunk hide in one of the bedrooms, so I let Moxie go. And, I mean, I let Moxie go when the chipmunk was at the end of the hallway. And, she's so fast, you know, so she caught it, and she had it like dangling there by its tail, and she was all like really proud of herself. And I was like, okay Moxie, come here, and I'm running after Moxie trying to catch her with the chipmunk in its mouth, but she wasn't having that, you know. So she darted into my room, and I thought, okay, well, now we've got it contained somewhat. So I shut like all of the other bedroom doors and the bathroom door and stuff, and I went into the room and we play hide and seek. So Moxie understands hide and seek to the extent that sometimes she has good hiding spots and she doesn't give up her hiding spots. But like if she steals my necklace, or if she steals one of Chrissy's earrings or something, sometimes we can get her to go find it and give it back to us. And yeah, she wasn't having it. So my show was The Thing, and I had to do my show. So I, you know, tried to coax her out of the room. I couldn't find Moxie at first. Then I found Moxie, but she didn't have the chipmunk with her, and I didn't know what to do. So I shut the door to the room, and I did my show. And during the show, every once in a while, I could hear the chipmunk scream. Oh God! So I thought she ate it, you know. And well, since Moxie was a baby, sometimes, you know, she would scratch, or we'd be playing with her. We play Get the Hand, and we kind of be her opponent to wrestle her, and she like wrestles with your hand. And sometimes she would scratch us or bite us, and so every time she like bit me or scratched me or something, I would stop and I would inspect her teeth, if she bit me, and I'd be like, ow, and I'd poke them, and I'd be like, ow, and I would, like, be teaching her that it hurts for her to bite me. And then, like, if somebody came home, I would explain to them the situation. There's, like, buzzwords that I use for her so that she knows what I'm talking about. And, so I would tell them, Moxie, ouch, and then I would pick Moxie up and show whoever came into the house the teeth that had poked me. She acted like she was so ashamed of herself, and she still does, Or if she did it with her paws, I would put out her paws, and I would show any new person that came in the house that she had these sharp, pokey things on the end of her paws, and explain to them that they were very, pokey. And she would, like, look away and stuff. So 10 hours later, actually, she came out a couple of times after the day, and I was like, yeah, I hope you're proud of yourself, that poor chipmunk stuck in my room, or you ate it, or whatever you happened to be. And she would, like, stomp her feet really hard coming up the hallway, and when she got close to me, I'd be like, don't stomp your feet at me, I'm not impressed with you, And so she went over to the food, and she picked up one of the pieces of food, the dried food, and she looked at me, and she let it fall out of her mouth. And I thought, oh, you nasty thing, because she was, like, saying that she had something more interesting to do than to eat that crappy food that I left her. So 10 hours later, everybody comes home. So I'm telling Amber, okay, this is what happened with Moxie, blah, 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 blah. And I feed him his food, and then my daughter comes in, and I'm explaining to them what happened. And so somewhere in my room, there was the remains of a chipmunk. And we needed to find out where that was. And so Alma was like, oh, Moxie, were you good? And do you have a prize for me? And so Moxie brought him into the bedroom to show him, and she was extremely distraught. And the chipmunk was somewhere in my closet. And Moxie couldn't find it 10 hours later. Oh, so the poor chipmunk must have been exhausted and missed like 5 meals. And then, oh, the vlog, oh my god. So, then Christy came home, and there's a sliding door on his naps. Now it's like 10 o'clock at night. He should have been asleep hours ago. So Christy got like a big 5-gallon bucket, and they caught it in a 5-gallon bucket, and they let it go outside. And yeah, so for like 2 days, Moxie was walking around like checking everything. She was checking underneath the couch and in the closets and, in cabinets and on the bookshelf and everywhere. She was so distraught looking for a chipmunk. But she didn't eat it. So what I think is that when I was hearing the chipmunk scream, she must have like poked it with her claw or poked it with her teeth or something, and it screamed, and I bet she was embarrassed, ashamed of herself that she heard it. Yep. Well, showtime, I mean, it was all day. I had my coffee at 10 and was on the porch with Moxie, and then my show was like at 1 or whatever. It was probably Friday, not last Friday, the Friday before. And I didn't come home until 10 o'clock at night, so it was a good 10-hour kind of ordeal. I was screaming, and there was a chipmunk running across my kitchen. Ooh, they moved so fast. Oh my god. Then I was out there, we're having a barbecue, and there's chipmunks like everywhere. We totally need a cat, And barbecue, and I look over, and there's the chipmunk like sitting there looking at me, I was like, yeah, you're lucky you're not on the grill here. Moxie will be eating you. Yeah, that was an exciting day. Yeah, but every day is exciting. Every single day is like just more and more exciting. It's unbelievable.